The weight of whispers. The barbell hit the rubber mat with a sound that echoed through Iron Haven Gym like a judge's gavel. Maya Chen stood there, hands still trembling, staring at the weight she just dropped during the clean and jerk. Around her, the other competitors continued their lifts, the rhythmic clanging of plates drowning out everything except the laughter. Did you see that? She couldn't even get it past her knees. The voice belonged to Derek Santos, a regular at the gym who seemed to measure his worth in the number of protein shakes he consumed daily. Maya's face burned as she walked off the platform, her 5 feet 4 inches frame feeling even smaller under the fluorescent lights. The competition coordinator barely looked at her as he marked something on his clipboard, his expression a mixture of pity and dismissal. This was the third local CrossFit competition where she'd failed to place, and the whispers followed her like shadows. In the locker room, she sat on the wooden bench, still wearing her lifting belt, staring at her calloused hands. These same hands had worked through nursing school, had held her younger brother Tommy after their parents died, had saved for this gym membership one shift at a time. But here, in this world of chalk dust and testosterone, they were just proof of her inadequacy. "Hey, Maya." Rebecca Morrison appeared in the doorway, her athletic frame wrapped in expensive workout gear. They'd been friends once, back in high school, before Bex had transformed herself into a fitness influencer with 60,000 followers. "You know, CrossFit might just not be your thing. Have you thought about yoga? Or maybe Pilates?" The sympathy in Bex's voice stung worse than mockery. Maya nodded, not trusting herself to speak, and Bex left with a gentle pat on her shoulder that felt like a dismissal. That evening, Maya sat in the hospital cafeteria during her break, mechanically eating a sandwich while scrolling through her phone. A notification popped up from Bex's account, a photo from the competition with the caption, "Surrounded by amazing athletes today. Remember, know your limits and find your journey." The comments section was full of flame emojis and praise. Maya's thumb hovered over the delete button for the social media app when her phone actually rang. Tommy's care facility. "Ms. Chen, nothing's wrong," the nurse assured her quickly. "Tommy just wanted to talk to you." Her brother's voice came through, slightly slurred but determined. "Maya, I watched this documentary. About Navy SEALs. Did you know some of them aren't these huge guys? They said mental toughness beats physical strength every time." Tommy had been obsessed with military service before the motorcycle accident 2 years ago had left him paralyzed from the waist down. "I was thinking about what I could have been, you know? But then I thought about you." "What about me?" Maya asked, her voice quiet in the humming cafeteria. "You're the toughest person I know, sis. You just don't know it yet." After hanging up, Maya sat in the fluorescent glow, surrounded by tired nurses and visiting families. She pulled up a search on her phone, Navy SEAL Selection Requirements Women. The results loaded slowly, each article a door opening to a possibility she'd never considered. The physical standards seemed impossible, the mental requirements even more so. But something in her chest tightened, not with fear, but with something she hadn't felt in years, hunger. That night, instead of going home, Maya returned to Iron Haven. The gym was nearly empty in the late hours, just a few dedicated lifters scattered across the space. She didn't touch the weights. Instead, she went to the pull-up bar in the corner and jumped up, managing one shaky repetition before dropping down. From across the room, Derek called out, "Calling it quits already, Chen?" Maya looked at him, then back at the bar. She jumped up again. And again. By her 10th attempt, her arms were screaming, and she'd completed 3 total pull-ups. Her hands bled slightly from the knurling on the bar. "What are you even training for?" Derek laughed, shaking his head as he walked past. Maya didn't answer. She didn't have an answer yet, not one she could speak aloud. But as she drove home through the dark streets, past the closed shops and flickering streetlights, she felt something shifting inside her, like tectonic plates preparing for an earthquake. Tomorrow, she'd start researching in earnest. Tomorrow, she'd make a plan. Tonight, for the first time in months, Maya Chen smiled. Maya stood outside the small office building at 6 a.m., watching her breath form clouds in the cold morning air. The sign read, Williams Performance Psychology, in understated letters. She'd found Dr. Sarah Williams through a military forum, a former Army psychologist who now worked with athletes and aspiring special operations candidates. "You're early," Dr. Williams said, opening the door. She was in her 50s, with silver-streaked hair and the calm demeanor of someone who'd seen it all. "That's good. Tells me you're serious." Inside, Maya explained everything. The mockery, Tommy's accident, the pull-up bar, the impossible dream that had kept her awake for 3 weeks straight. Dr. Williams listened without interruption, then leaned forward. "Let me be clear about what you're considering. The Navy SEAL selection program has a 90% attrition rate. For women, the scrutiny is 10 times worse. You'll be tested physically, mentally, and emotionally in ways that will make that CrossFit competition feel like a spa day. Are you prepared for that?" "I don't know," Maya answered honestly. "But I need to try." "Good answer. Honesty is where we start." Dr. Williams pulled out a notebook. "We have 18 months before the next selection class. That means we need to transform not just your body, but your mind. Physical training will happen elsewhere, but twice a week, you're here with me. We'll work on mental resilience, stress management, and breaking down the psychological barriers you've built around yourself." The physical training began with Chief Petty Officer James Rodriguez, retired SEAL who ran a small preparation program out of a warehouse gym across town. Maya had emailed him her intention, and his response had been 3 words, Tuesday. 0500, don't quit. That first Tuesday, Maya arrived to find 5 other candidates, all men, all significantly larger than her. Chief Rodriguez was in his 40s, compact and weathered, with eyes that seemed to measure everything. "Chen," he called out, barely glancing at her. "You're small. You'll compensate with technique and mental fortitude, or you'll fail. I don't care which. Line up." The workout was brutal, a 4-mile run in boots, followed by endless sets of push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. Maya vomited twice and finished last in everything. As the other candidates left, she stayed on the ground, arms shaking. Rodriguez crouched beside her. "Why are you here?" "To prove I can do this," Maya gasped. "Wrong answer. Come back Thursday with a better one, or don't come back at all." Maya spent that evening with Dr. Williams, tears streaming down her face. "He asked me why I'm doing this, and I didn't have an answer." "Yes, you did," Dr. Williams said gently. "You just gave him the answer you thought he wanted. Why are you really doing this?" Maya closed her eyes, seeing Tommy's face, feeling the weight of every dismissive look she'd ever received. "Because I need to know what I'm capable of. Because my whole life, people have told me what I can't do. I need to find out what I can." "There it is," Dr. Williams smiled. "That's your anchor. When it gets hard, and it will get impossibly hard, you come back to that." 3 months in, Maya's body had transformed. She could do 15 pull-ups, run 6 miles without stopping, and her swimming had improved from panicked flailing to controlled strokes. But the mental training with Dr. Williams proved even more valuable. She learned to compartmentalize pain, to find calm in chaos, to reframe suffering as information rather than a signal to quit. At the gym one evening, Maya ran into Bex, who was filming content with her phone propped on a weight rack. "Oh my God, Maya." Bex's eyes widened. "You look so different. What are you training for?" "Just working on myself," Maya said, moving toward the pull-up bar. Bex followed, camera still recording. "Come on, you can tell me. Is it a marathon? Triathlon?" She laughed. "Don't tell me you're still trying CrossFit competitions." Maya turned to face her former friend. "I'm training for Navy SEAL selection." The words hung in the air. Bex's expression cycled through confusion, disbelief, and finally settled on something that looked like concern, but sounded like condescension. Maya, honey, that's really ambitious. But have you actually researched what that involves? These are the most elite soldiers in the world. Even huge, athletic men fail out. I just don't want you to be disappointed when. When what? Maya interrupted. When I fail? You've been waiting for me to fail at something again, haven't you? Makes for good content, right? The inspirational story about knowing your limits? Bex's face flushed. That's not fair. I'm trying to be realistic. I care about you. No, you care about being the one who made it while I stayed stuck. But I'm not stuck anymore. Maya walked away, her heart pounding not with anger, but with certainty. That night, Bex posted a video titled, "When Dreams Become Delusions," a conversation about realistic goal setting. She never mentioned Maya by name, but the message was clear. The comments section filled with agreement, with people praising Bex for her honesty and maturity. Maya watched the video once, then deleted the app from her phone. She had 6 months until selection, and she couldn't afford distractions. At their session the next day, Dr. Williams asked about the incident. It hurt, Maya admitted. But it also clarified things. I'm not doing this for anyone else's approval anymore. I'm doing it because it's who I want to become. Dr. Williams nodded. The people who doubt you loudest are often the ones most threatened by your transformation. Remember that when things get harder. In month 15, Chief Rodriguez pulled Maya aside after a particularly grueling ocean swim in cold water. You've improved more than anyone I've trained. But improvement isn't the same as ready. The real test isn't your body, it's whether you can keep going when your body is screaming at you to stop, when every logical part of your brain is listing reasons to quit. That's where most people fail. How do I prepare for that? Maya asked, teeth chattering. You don't. You just decide beforehand that quitting isn't an option you're going to take, no matter what. Then you test that decision against reality and see if it holds. He handed her a towel. Selection starts in 8 weeks. I've submitted your recommendation to Lieutenant Commander Webb, the director. He'll want to meet you before you're officially accepted into the program. The meeting with Lieutenant Commander Marcus Webb took place at the Naval Special Warfare Command facility. Webb was tall, intimidating, with ribbons on his uniform that told stories Maya could only imagine. Ms. Chen, he said, reviewing her file. Your improvement metrics are impressive. Chief Rodriguez speaks highly of your determination. But I'll be honest, you understand the scrutiny you'll face as a woman in this program? Yes, sir. And you understand that scrutiny isn't fair, but it's reality? Yes, sir. Webb studied her for a long moment. Why do you want this? Maya met his eyes. Because I need to know what I'm capable of, sir. And because someone has to be first. A slight smile crossed Webb's face. Not first. But rare. Very rare. Welcome to selection, Ms. Chen. I'll see you in 8 weeks. Don't make me regret this. The first day of basic underwater demolition/SEAL training, Maya stood in formation with 73 other candidates. She was one of 2 women. The other, a former college swimmer named Jenna Torres, had the build of an Olympian. Maya, at 5 feet 4 inches and 128 pounds, looked like someone who'd wandered into the wrong place. The instructors circled like sharks, their eyes assessing, judging, already deciding who would make it and who wouldn't. Listen up, the lead instructor shouted. I don't care who you were before you got here. I don't care about your college degrees, your athletic records, or your daddy's military service. Here, you're all equally worthless until you prove otherwise. Most of you will quit. We're going to help you make that decision. The first 4 weeks were designed to prepare them for Hell Week, the legendary 5.5-day crucible where candidates got maybe 4 hours of total sleep while enduring constant physical and mental stress. Maya quickly learned that her size, which everyone assumed was a disadvantage, could be an asset. During log PT, where teams of 6 carried telephone poles through various exercises, she fit underneath easily and could use her legs more efficiently. During surf torture, where they sat linked arm in freezing ocean water, her smaller body mass meant she could maintain core temperature slightly better. But the harassment was constant and creative. "Chen! You're holding up your boat crew," an instructor screamed as her team carried their inflatable boat on their heads. Never mind that there were 6 people and the weight distribution wasn't even. "Faster!" During meals, which were brief and chaotic, she overheard whispers from other candidates. "She won't make it past Hell Week." "No way." Jenna Torres dropped out during week 3 after a stress fracture. As she rang the bell, the ceremonial act of quitting, Maya felt the weight of representation settle heavier on her shoulders. Now she wasn't just representing herself, she was the only woman left. Dr. Williams' words echoed in her mind, "You're not responsible for an entire gender's capabilities. You're only responsible for your own effort." Hell Week began on a Sunday evening with breakout, instructors storming the barracks with simulated explosives, hoses, and chaos. For the next 5 days, Maya existed in a fog of exhaustion, cold, and pain that transcended anything Chief Rodriguez's preparation had simulated. Monday bled into Tuesday. The surf torture session seemed endless, sitting in 55-degree water until hypothermia became a real threat, then being ordered to roll in the sand until every inch of skin was raw. Maya discovered that her mental training with Dr. Williams became her lifeline. While others fought against the misery, she observed it clinically, compartmentalizing each sensation. "My legs are numb. That's information, not a reason to quit. I can't feel my fingers. Temporary. Not permanent. This pain will end. Quitting is forever." Wednesday night brought the Around the World paddle, a boat exercise that lasted 14 hours, circumnavigating the island in their inflatable rafts. Maya's boat crew was struggling. Their strongest paddler, a former college football player named Marcus Reed, had developed severe chafing that made every stroke agony. Another teammate, Brian Kowalski, was clearly on the edge of quitting, his paddle strokes becoming weaker and weaker. "Chen," Marcus gasped during a brief rest. "I don't know if I can keep going." Maya looked at him, this man who was twice her size and had been one of the strongest performers in their class. In that moment, she realized something crucial: physical strength had limits, but those limits came later than most people thought. "Yes, you can," she said firmly. "Your body isn't done. Your mind is just trying to protect you. Tell it to shut up for another hour. Just 1 more hour. That's all we're doing. 1 hour at a time." She started calling cadence, forcing rhythm into their paddling. When her own voice grew hoarse, she started singing, terribly, off-key, but loud. Songs from her childhood, pop songs from the radio, anything to fill the silence where doubt lived. Other boats around them took up the songs. The instructors, observing from their support craft, exchanged glances. This wasn't normal. This wasn't the usual pain-driven survival. This was something else. Thursday morning, during a particularly brutal log PT session, Instructor Davis, who'd been especially hard on Maya, made a mistake. The team was supposed to carry their log through an obstacle course, but the prescribed route was actually impossible given the log's length and the obstacle spacing. Most teams were forcing it, bashing into walls, losing team members to minor injuries. Maya stopped her team. "Wait. Look at the course. We can't go through it this way. We have to go around, through that gap there." "Chen!" Davis screamed. "Did I tell you to stop?" "No, Instructor Davis, but the route as designed will injure my teammates." "Permission to use an alternative route that accomplishes the same objective?" The other instructors watched. This was the test within the test. Could candidates think under extreme duress? Could they question orders when those orders were tactically unsound? Davis stared at her for a long moment. Show me. Maya's route added distance but avoided the impossible obstacles. Her team finished third, but everyone finished uninjured. Afterward, she saw Davis and Lieutenant Commander Webb conferring, both looking at her. By Friday, the class had shrunk from 73 to 41. Maya was still there, moving through a world that felt like a fever dream. Her body was failing in 1,000 small ways, blisters upon blisters, muscles that cramped randomly, a persistent cough from aspirating seawater, but her mind remained clear and focused. The final event of Hell Week was So Soli Day, named in politically incorrect fashion, involving a series of challenges meant to break whatever spirit remained. Candidates had to crawl through mudflats, navigate obstacle courses while instructors blasted them with hoses, and complete endless exercises while sleep-deprived and hypothermic. During a particular exercise, Maya found herself partnered with Brian Kowalski, the candidate who'd nearly quit during the paddle. They had to carry a partner through an obstacle course. Brian was supposed to carry her, then she'd carry him. Brian looked at her with exhausted eyes. This is stupid. You can't carry me. I'm 210 pounds. Watch me, Maya said. She hoisted him in a fireman's carry, her legs shaking, and started moving. She made it 15 feet before her legs gave out and they both went down in the mud. An instructor materialized immediately, screaming in her face about failure and weakness. Maya got up, readjusted Brian on her shoulders, and started again. 10 feet this time before falling. The instructor's screaming intensified. Other candidates stopped to watch, assuming this was where Maya Chen's selection ended. She stood up a third time. This time, she shifted Brian into a different carry position, distributing his weight across her back and hips differently. She took 3 steps. 5. 10. 20. Her vision tunneled, her world reduced to the next step, and the next, and the next. She made it 50 yards before her body simply stopped obeying her commands and she collapsed. But she'd made it past the required marker. Instructor Davis pulled her to her feet. Unconventional, Chen. But effective. Now go wring out your boots and get ready for the next evolution. As Maya stumbled away, she heard Davis say to another instructor, that little woman just out-stubborned a linebacker. I did not see that coming. Hell Week ended Saturday afternoon. Of the 73 who started, 34 remained. Maya Chen was one of them, weighing 15 pounds less than when she started, covered in bruises and cuts, but standing. Lieutenant Commander Webb addressed the survivors. You've completed Hell Week. This does not mean you're SEALs. It means you've proven you have the minimum mental fortitude to continue training. The real work starts Monday. As they were dismissed, Marcus Reed approached Maya. Thank you. For Wednesday night. I was done, and you brought me back. Maya nodded, too tired for false modesty. We brought each other back. That's how this works. That evening, alone in her barracks, Maya allowed herself to feel everything she'd compartmentalized over the past 5 days. The pain, the exhaustion, the doubt, the triumph. She thought about Bex's video, about Derek's laughter at Iron Haven Gym, about every person who'd dismissed her. Then she stopped thinking about them entirely. This wasn't about them anymore. It had never really been about them. This was about the promise she'd made to herself, standing at that pull-up bar months ago, to find out what she was truly capable of. The answer was emerging, one impossible day at a time.